It hasn't even been 3 full weeks into the season, yet some teams who had contending aspirations are already in panic mode. But even after these last couple months, nobody's been as atrocious as the Dallas Mavericks' Nico Harrison, giving up Luka, the face of the Dallas Mavericks, best tough shot maker since Kobe, and a consensus top 5 player in the world about to be in his prime. Trading for a diminished product exiting out of his prime, nicknamed Mr. Street Clothes, Mr. Glass, the fragile injury-prone Anthony Davis, already banged up and unreliable. The same AD who got hurt his very first game in a Mavericks uniform, a guy who's about to turn 33 in a couple months, an absolute unforgiving travesty of a disaster. The Mavs landing #1 pick Cooper Flagg doesn't justify Nico Harrison keeping his job. If it was up to Pelinka whether he would give up Luka for both Davis and Flagg right now, the answer is absolutely no. Easily the worst trade of the year, perhaps even the century, overshadowing all the other disasters. These other front office don't deserve their passes for their awful decisions they wish they can undo. Starting with the Orlando Magic, sabotaging all their future picks for non-all-star, struggling Desmond Bane, 4 unprotected firsts, an atrocious start to the season for a team that's supposed to take the next step but remains stagnant, not even solid on defense anymore. Orlando needed more of a true point guard to create for others, still horrendous offensive team, especially on the half-court set. Jamal Mosley could very well be in the hot seat. Anything below 44 wins with a relatively healthy roster would be an absolute disappointment. For all the supposed knockdown shooters team had in Gary Harris, these guys tend to all struggle not getting set up by greats like Jokic. Orlando's offense looked like they're playing in the mid-2000s, standing around, Bane not involved enough on the plays, his skill set underutilized to the highest, lashing out on Okongwu a week ago, the frustrations already in his head, acting confused about getting ejected, implanting his best Dylan Brooke tactics. Jalen Suggs, not an elite ball handler, more like a do-it-all, hustle guy, a poor outside shooter. Bane's one-dimensional offensive skill set, not enough to make up for the scoring wounds. Another first-round exit most likely. The decision in signing Bane could be the beginning of the end of the Franz Wagner-Paolo duo. Trading one of the 2 stars could be the only option. Team has a couple months to figure things out with the East as wide open as ever. The franchise could have just gotten Anthony Simon for much cheaper. Bane's inconsistency give Tobias Harris vibes on the Sixers. New Orleans trading for Derek Queen gave up their unprotected first-round pick, the biggest travesty franchise of them all. It's time to relocate. The hiring of Joe Dumars does not justify the fact he's been an awful GM. His last half-decade with the Pistons, trading up 10 spots, Zion continues to waste his NBA career. The front office duo with Dumars and Troy Weaver, awful decision-making. There's a reason why the Pistons had 0 playoff wins between a 17-year span. Trading Indiana's next year's pick to clear up $3 million in cap space, then their own unprotected first for an unnecessary move for a guy not guaranteed to be a star. These dumb franchises continues being the NBA's biggest punching bags. The Pels might just be the worst run team in all of pro sports, the bottom shelf of the NBA, 0-6 start, and Zion already starting to miss multiple games. Bad teams with banged up players should never trade an unprotected pick when they had no shot at contending. Given next year's loaded class, another blown opportunity, the best thing they have on their roster, 69-year-old DeAndre Jordan telling Queen to stand up during a post-game locker room interview.
Come on, stand up, dog. You big dog, you had 12, 8, and 7 tonight. Don't sit down. You gotta stand on that shit.
Why do interviews, DJ?
Yeah, there you go. Right on.
That might be the only highlight of their season. 15 long years with this franchise. New Orleans drafted a first overall pick twice and only made it past the first round once. Willie Green stays getting limited. Everyone knew Dumars made a disastrous mistake draft day. The consequences will only get more severe from here. This level of recklessness, completely indefensible, a generational dumpster for the ages. Washington Wizards trading for washed up CJ McCollum, who's worse than Jordan Poole right now, an absolute train wreck of a franchise. The former president of the Players Union serving his own punishment, playing for the Wizards, being on a good player on a high contract, but just not good enough to be a number 1 or 2 on a serious team. The 34-year-old's best days behind him, struggling mightily on an awful squad. At least Washington moved on from the Poole contract, but CJ at this stage of his career, a clear downgrade, being undersized, dribbles into jumpers, doesn't make anybody better, just trying to get on a contender before All-Star break by all means necessary. Who can blame him? His defense one of the worst as a wing. For all we know, Washington likely will end up picking 6 again. The Wizards obviously getting rid of Denny Avdia, an absolute stupid decision all around. The best bargain in the NBA right now, playing like an all-star, signed 4 years 55, could have been Washington's focal point, but another team capitalizing on a massive mistake. The type of player who will lead a bad team to several more wins out the lottery didn't fit the Wizards timeline. Washington getting 1 year of Malcolm Brogdon in return. All other 29 teams would love doing business with them. Utah getting only use of Nurkic and a trade exception, got rid of the more impactful Colin Sexton. Nurk way past his prime, slow 7-footer. Danny Ainge low-key been one of the worst GMs since taking his talents to Salt Lake, having the chance to sell high for marketing. Their all-star at 29 years old, yet to play in a single playoff game. Only getting Nurkic in return, the trade makes zero sense for Utah. When the same franchise tanks for 3 years in a row so brutally, this shit starts to get old. There's nothing exciting about being a Jazz fan these days. Los Angeles Clippers trading away Norman Powell after coming off his best career season and currently averaging more points than both John Collins and the atrocious Bradley Beal combined, thinking Beal the real Powell replacement? Delusional and laughable. Norman balling out for Miami, averaging 23.5 points, while Bradley's pathetic numbers of 8 points, abysmal shooting, and Collins, who only plays 24 minutes off the bench. This franchise continues to be desperate, giving every chance to washed up former All-Stars. At least the Suns were smart enough to waive Beal, a guy claiming he was being held back by Phoenix. There's no reason why in today's NBA, Beal should be a player any longer. His entire career tarnished by the Supermax Washington gave him and the hilarious no trade clause. Now the Clippers looking like a prime retirement home for washed up guys. The fact that Norman actually a couple months older than Beal goes to show one cares about winning while the other just collecting paychecks. Ty Lue's job not so secure, having crazy weird lineups all over the place. If Beal was any useful in the first place, could have been the Lou Williams to John Collins Montrezl Harrell pick and roll duel. But Beal ain't like that. The fact that he's starting games approaching 2026 and Collins continues to ride the bench, will Ty Lue be next accused of placing bets? Norman putting up more 25-point games when Clipper fans will continue getting used to seeing Beal drop 5 points on 2 of 9 shooting. One of the worst takes from NBA analyst Kevin O'Connor claimed Beal being an upgrade from Norman when he's not even an upgrade from Kevin Huerter in today's NBA. When will the Clippers learn signing a bunch of old guys who can no longer play defense? Literally a recipe for disaster. Beal signing for 2 years $11 million, still overpaid. It's next to impossible to see any team take Beal seriously after 2026. The type of guy who's content with losing, doesn't play defense or bring in any winning qualities, just continuing to steal money from the league. Although signing Beal wasn't directly related to trading Norman Powell, Clippers thought he can replicate similar production? Absolutely not. John Collins playing like the 8th man. If the Clippers found a way to get Collins without giving up Powell, they'd still be alright. This team's gotta blow it up at this point. Couple notable non-trades but costly decisions. Minnesota having to pay both Julius Randle and Nas Reed forced them to get rid of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a gut punch to their backcourt, having no true point guard. Mike Conley's beyond wash. Rob Dillingham not getting playing time. Memphis buying out Cole Anthony for no reason. Boston forced to get rid of Porzingis and Drew Holiday for salary and getting under the second apron. Could Derek White be on the move next at nearly 32 years old? For all these bad decisions, Dallas Mavericks fans will unfortunately suffer the worst consequences, trapped in a disaster beyond repair. Only time can undo the damages unfolding in the present moment.